They can even see through these frauds and these fakes. But so when the supernatural, in fact, let's put it this way, the supernatural isn't supernatural anymore. It's natural and it's manufactured. And so that's why you'll hear these stories about gold dust and picking up gemstones in the church after the service, or sweaty palms and oil seeping from certain things. In fact, I have a video where one lady from Bethel was saying that oil started seeping through a whiteboard, I think, or something. Anyway, very similar to the stigmata of Roman Catholicism. But yeah, any sort of sign and wonder will do for these people. So that's where we are in the world today. In the church, in the visible church today, they are manufacturing all kinds of miracles and stories, and all false. And what else props up this sort of supernatural culture and the fact that they have to manufacture things, right? Manufacture these signs and wonders. What else adds to that hype? Well, lies, false stories. That's point number 6. Testimonies and stories of miracles and various supernatural encounters. And you've got to remember that, as I've said in a previous video, I can't remember which one, whatever captures you will have to sustain you. In other words, if you have been captured by signs and wonders and miracles, if that's the reason that you've joined the church, to be healed, and perform great miracles than Jesus, then that's going to have to sustain you. In other words, it's going to have to appear on your radar every couple of days or weeks or months. You're always going to have to go back to that thing that captured you. And if it's signs and wonders that captured you, signs and wonders are going to have to sustain you. And so when they don't happen, as I said, they get manufactured. And one of these things to prop that up and to keep that lie alive is simply lies and stories and testimonies. And here are some examples.
We have friends in Weaverville that their child was saving money for a trip of some sort. I think it was a missions trip, but it may have been Disneyland or something. But anyway, he'd been saving money for quite a while. He had his wallet playing out in a field next to the house, lost the wallet. He was just bummed. And the family had searched and looked. They couldn't find it. They went all through the field. They couldn't find it. So they're sitting together in the evening, and they're praying and talking together. And one of them talks about that they would sure like to be able to find that wallet. Now I know these people, all right? So I've already gone over the line with a retainer appearing on his shirt. But we're going to push the envelope every way we possibly can this morning, because the testimony of Jesus is the spirit of prophecy. All right. So here they're sitting in their living room. In fact, they live up in the Trinity Center, up by Trinity Lake. And they're sitting in their living room, and out of nowhere, the wallet falls out of the air onto the living room floor in front of them. Bobby Conner, some of you have heard this story. Bobby Conner's one of our great prophetic friends, was given a little pocket knife from a friend of his, Bob Jones, who was also a dear friend of this house. And he lost it. And he was just really bummed one day. He lost this little knife because it had a lot of sentimental value to it. And he was in a hotel room, because he spends his life in hotels too. He's in a hotel room, and this thing just came on him and he went, "I want my knife back." He just yelled it out in his hotel room, "I want my knife back." The knife fell from the air onto his bed right in the middle of the hotel room.
So you can see there, Bill. I mean, how can you believe this? But that's the thing, you see. So if you need signs and wonders and these sort of things to sustain you, the story you're telling today has to be a little bit more ear-tickling than the one you told yesterday. So as time progresses, you've seen it in the NAR in Bethel, they become more outlandish in their stories, more bizarre, more out of this world. And you've got to outdo the previous week, or you won't keep the people there. So it just goes from one thing to the next, one story to the next, and just a lot of hogwash. And then, of course, very popular is the privilege of being taken to heaven, taking a trip to heaven. In this case, it's Ben Fitzgerald, another deceiver from Awakening Europe, who claims to have visited Smith Wigglesworth's house in heaven. I wonder if Smith was still kicking babies around, but anyway, Let's have a listen to Ben Fitzgerald, who says, God told him keep it quiet, but here he is not keeping it quiet.
Now I'm saying pretty weird stuff now. Some of you might be offended at this, but I saw in a heavenly place, I saw the house of Smith Wigglesworth in heaven. And I can't tell you the rest, because he said, don't share the rest publicly. He said, you may share it privately with friends, but do not share this publicly. And it was hard for me because everything inside me, after I saw his house, and I saw the inside of his house, and I saw like what the street looked like, I went into this crazy thing where I actually was taken there. And I saw his house. I can't explain it to you, but I did. And I heard these things. And everything he said lined up biblically. It wasn't some weird revelation. It was all biblical stuff. Scriptures, many of them from the Old Testament.
Yeah, and if it's lined up with Scripture, then, just tell it. What's the secret about it? Just tell us. But let's move on to point number 7, and that is this constant focus on the supernatural.